we're here with our quarantine lack of haircuts. You're going a little nuts. And it's so weird to do a before the 90-day recap without sister wives hanging over us. Please like and subscribe. So many people are unsubscribing now that Sister Wives is over. It's so depressing. But I get it. Without the polygamists, what do I have to offer? So this is season 4, episode 9. Should have known better. My toddler helped me with my notes. This toddler did not. Should have known better and...
Fake tears.
Oh, that was my joke. You stole it. I told it to you. You stole it. This is also should be named the episode of Crying with No Tears. Because every time someone would cry, I was like looking at the lash line, not even welling up.
It's as bad as that one lady's plastic surgery.
Oh, you're so mean. I only am going to let that fly because...
It's true.
It's a choice. I would never make fun of how someone looks physically with what they're born, but if you choose to do that stuff, I get to choose to say that maybe those were some bad decisions. And they're deliberate. We can't say that they were botched or an accident because her and her sister look exactly alike.
They sure look botched.
I'll tell you, Dr. Terry Dubrow and Nastiff would say that they were botched and help them out, which is probably, I'm guessing, once she can no longer be on 90 days, they show up on botched. Anyway, so we're talking with Jeffrey and Varya. So he's told her this news. She's kind of on the edge because she's already this deep. And as my dad says, don't throw good money after bad. So don't throw good time after bad. You know, so she's wasted this time. So she tells her family. They have this long conversation. I do have to say when Jeffrey goes, that doesn't sound good. I did bark with laughter because it was like all subtitled for us. But from his point of view, he was just sitting there listening to them yell at each other in Russian. He keeps focusing on why he had to tell her now, as in, you deserve to know the truth, but kind of leaves out the, like, maybe I should have told you earlier, and she's like, well, I wouldn't have dated you, and he's like, I know, that's why I lied to you. Terrible way to start. I'll tell you right now, he is telling you exactly how it's going to be, which is evident by the fact that, and I haven't read a lot of the reports, like I've said, I try to just judge on the show, because otherwise we're, like, in full investigation mode all the time. But I can't help but have heard about the charges of domestic violence, and it just makes me sick. And, you know, so I'm hoping for her sake. I'm hoping two things. One, for her sake, she cuts it off with him. She says no go. Secondly, that some American guy is looking at her going like, I want to take a swing at that. And we see her in a future season with someone who's maybe a little more honest. Usman and Lisa, it bothers me that she keeps calling his mom, Mommy. We need to get Mommy to approve, and I'm like, lady, you're the same age. First off. Secondly, maybe because of how I grew up, I don't call, like, after a certain age, I don't call my parents Mommy and Daddy. Anyway, do you have anything to add about that train wreck?
No, I mean, they're looking like the most sane people out of them all.
Well, I mean, they at least look like they're actually moving toward marriage. We didn't even see Ed and Rose this whole episode.
No loss there. Okay.
Stephanie and Erica. This is where I'm going to say Steph had this big long thing where she was, this is the woman she was going to marry. And like completely dry eyes. I'm going to stop buying this for a second.
Faker.
This is like,
acre.
I feel like this is she's a YouTuber, I'm guessing maybe Erica and everyone, and it's a performance. This is a performance relationship.
It's terrible, and everybody should unfollow them.
I don't believe for a moment that Steph is really in this for anything other. Someone described him on Twitter as they're both chasing clout. Okay, I don't disagree with that. It definitely feels like very performative. I get, like, Stephanie's painting this, like, this whole thing, like, that she's not real physical with Erica as, like, I'm just moving slow, which is fine, but there's a lot of ways, body language, where you can be affectionate without hopping into bed, and we don't see those either.
Maybe she just doesn't like girls.
You know, that could definitely be true. I think it's definitely true she doesn't like Erica. That definitely seems true.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. No kidding.
Sorry. But, and then the thing is, she has all these problems with Erica, and I mean, they would be problems for me, too, if I was dating a guy and he had a dating app. But with the exception of the dating app, none of these are a surprise to her. None of these are things that she discovered in Australia. She's like, by the way, it's always bothered me. And Erica's a bit... Now, whenever Erica gets called out, Erica gets this look on her face like she got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she apparently had sex with a bunch of her friends. I mean, maybe that's really common.
I really like the part where... I don't know what either of these people's names are.
Adam?
The slut shaming, that was fun.
Wait, what was it?
It's just, oh, you slept with all your friends and I just want to...
Oh, I know. Well, and it is, I mean, from the impression I got is that she's very free and sexual on her YouTube channel. And this is what I mean by performative, is the whole thing like, I want to take a bath with you and put on a sexy outfit and a cloak. And they have this big passionate kiss for the camera. And then apparently as soon as the camera left, she was like, oh, I'm so tired, I have to go to bed. And then that's been the aesthetic the whole time. The whole trip has been like, you know, and and Erica keeps saying you have a problem with everything. Yeah, I mean,
she does.
I can't disagree with that. And then Steph is like the queen of awkward conversations because she's always like nailing people into a corner. And I get it, you know, she's a disease and all that, and it definitely affects you.
She is a disease.
But she manages to trot the disease out at common or illness or however, at a lot of convenient times. So this is, I don't know if you could pay me enough money to have this awkward of a conversation where she's like, by the way, Adam.
You definitely pay me enough.
Okay, yeah, truthfully. Yeah, you got money, we'll discuss it. But where she's like, by the way, Adam, what are your real feelings for Erica? And I'm like, I don't know that I've ever done something that aggressively awkward in my life. And then he's just sitting there. And then after Erica runs off mad again, she continues to talk to Adam and this friend like they're going to be like, oh, you're right. Erica's definitely wrong. She's one of our dearest friends and you're a stranger who brought a camera with you. But we're definitely going to be on your side. It was so crazy. They fought more in these 3 days than we have this whole quarantine. And we have fought during this quarantine, but not that much. I mean, and I tell you, we didn't fight that much the first 3 months. Because like, you know, like you start dating and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, you know, and then you kind of work out through some stuff. You work through some stuff. So I just wrote, Steph is bumming everyone out. So true. Okay, David, his imaginary girlfriend. So she stands him up at the train station, and he's like, I'm going to go to her hometown, which takes 19 billion hours to get to in a tire. I'm just wondering, what they need is the producers to talk about this. I want to see the camera guy who's like, we're going where? Do I get hazard pay for this? And then they go to this area.
They really just need to find the dude he's been chatting with. And
yeah, well, and then,
maybe they'll fall in love.
Frankly, at this point, because I was like, if anyone shows up at lunch, anyone, I'm going to poop my pants. Because it would be so unlikely. And of course, no one shows up. The best people this entire season are like the friends and family. So when the Russian woman, when he shows up with 9 roses, I don't know what that one is about.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
And then he leaves after 2 or 3 hours. I kind of missed that part, how long he was there. The lady goes and gets the roses and put it up, and she's like, oh, yeah, this happens all the time.
All the time.
Men show up and no one arrives. I'm like, first of all, they needed to like do a full episode with her because I wanted to know everything about this. And she's like, no point for the roses to go to waste, and like puts them up. And I was like, that's the best scene since the UPS, since the flower guy who's like, oh, he is always buying roses. I can't even tell you how many thousands of women. Or I mean, these are like, I want to show with these people because these are some interesting people. Or like the Russian lady. Jeffrey's Russian lady. Crazy. So anyway, no one shows up. He's got her address. I'm like, he's going to get shot. Like, I want to see this shot next week, and the camera guy is like 1,000 yards away, veering through a window as because he's going to knock on the door. It looks like someone comes to the door. I don't know who it is. I mean, we know that Lana, as he believes, doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, this dude's pretty into playing pretend. Why not just order a blow-up doll? It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Shows up. It's a
for
real
$100,000, he could go on one of those matchmaker sites. When I was in California, there was a matchmaker site, something called like Only Tens or something. I think it's a joke name, but you would pay money, And they would arrange that every single week you had a date with beautiful women. And they had to qualify and, you know,
what's that called again? I'll keep that in mind for...
You're so terrible. Anyway, so going on Ash and Avery, the like, dong of the whole season, the best line of the whole season.
Oh, I'm single.
Well, I'm single. Oh, you're what? You're what?
The reply should have been, well, I'm taking the next flight out.
Boom. Like, when she caught him in a lie, it was like, she's like, you're single? And he's like,
oh man, he tripped over himself for like...
I just...
the rest of the episode.
Oh man, it was so satisfying to catch Mr. Smooth Operator. Like, genuinely like, hubba hubba hubba. Oh my gosh. So they go snorkeling. She sees that he has 68 text messages from women and kind of asks, like, what's the deal? And she says something like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with the relationship you have with your clients. And he's like, that's none of your business. And it's like, well, it is her business if whether or not she can be comfortable. And that's when he's like, I'm single right now. And she's like, and he didn't know it. I mean, he didn't catch it. It wasn't like the words came out and he was like, he said, well, I'm single right now. And she's like, wait, you're single? And then he's like, I don't think we ever really got a good reply. But what I did appreciate for his bad a sign is that she's seems to be the most self-aware in the group. In the sense that she has since the very beginning said, I'm worried that he's too smooth of an operator, that he's telling me what I think, and that I'm buying it because I want the fantasy. Okay, I mean, she's right. Whether or not I would say that those are some pretty big warning signs, and maybe you shouldn't go overseas, but then again, I don't really know what what they offered her in terms of compensation, because it might have been worth it. Anyway, so I guess next week we see him at his scammy guru love fest with all these women. Yolanda, are we even going to talk about? It looks like, so the whole thing is like, by the way, hon, I sent some pictures. And she's like, what kind of pictures? Mom, what kind of pictures did you send?
And she says, just normal pictures that they're blackmailing me
over. And they want to come and beat me up. First of all, the beating up thing is probably no big deal because we know they're scammers and they're in Nigeria. They're not, if they could come to America to beat someone up, they wouldn't be scary. So, I mean, it is a little scary. I mean, I don't want anyone having my address, but at the same time, it's, in this grand scheme of things, and I will say his Instagram account with all those stolen pictures only had 128 followers. So their ability to get out her nudes kind of make me question as to whether or not they even have that great, they can even do that. Admittedly, I wouldn't want my nudes out there, which is why there are none. So I guess that solves it. That's a whole thing about, you know, privacy. And this is, I always value privacy, and I don't think you can say anyone deserves something, but... So anyway, finally it looks like next week, her kids do what we suggested in episode 1, which is reverse image search. Looks like he's some Italian bodybuilder. Oh, I'm so shocked. They're fake pictures. Who knew? So, anyway, then we see Darcy. Why is she still there? And they're bringing Tom back next week?
No, nobody cares.
This is not real. But this is where Darcy and Stacey...
If we wanted to see bad...
acting...
If we wanted to see...
You stole my joke and then you have the nerve to be upset when I...
If we wanted to see botched plastic surgery, we'd watch Botched.
If we want to see bad acting, we'd watch Botched. So there you go. No, but I mean, she's like, I deserve love. No, I admit, she does deserve love. I believe that people deserve that. I just don't for a second believe that any of this experience is really heartbreaking. So she's crying, Stacey's crying.
No,
they got bone. Not a drop comes out of their eyes. Their eyes, when people tear up, their eyes get red. We don't see that. You get little along the tear. Nothing. Just nothing. So I guess next week we're going to see Tom because he loves her so much.
Fake as her face.
Well, the thing is Tom's chasing after her because he really... I don't believe that for a second. Why?
Tom gets the daily rate to be on the show.
I know. Well, I
milk this thing as long as possible.
After it was like done, I wonder if the producers were like, yeah, I don't think we're going to use this segment because there's just really not a lot of, there's just not a lot going on. He's like, whoa, wait, I've been thinking. I think maybe she is the love of my life and I'm pushing her away out of fear. And I really deserve to give it another shot. I'll go to her house. And they're like, we're listening. So I don't even understand. This is ridiculous. So anyway, that is 90 days. Before the 90 days, we will see you next week.
We watch it so you don't have to.